The top stories tonight in Y News. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority is eyeing to implement a new number coding scheme which will prohibit vehicles from plying Metro Manila roads twice a week.
The Department of Health saw a spike in dengue cases in some provinces across 4 different regions.
A government intelligence agency is validating a list of more than 20 persons allegedly involved in the large-scale smuggling of agricultural products.
And a total of 8,241 examinees out of 11,402 takers passed the 2020-2021 bar examinations.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, the 12th of April, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am Elsie Marcos.
First in the news, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority seeks the approval of Metro Manila mayors to implement a new number coding scheme in EDSA. Under the new coding system, private vehicles will be prohibited from traversing the affected roads for 2 days. Rosalie Cos explains why.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA has already submitted to the Metro Manila mayors its proposal to implement a new number coding scheme in major thoroughfares in NCR. MMDA expects the decision of the policy-making body Metro Manila Council after the long holiday. The target date for the implementation of the new coding scheme is either May 1 or 16.
Isinumitin na po natin yan sa Metro Manila Council at ine-expect po natin after Holy Week ma-aprobahan na po ito. At ang target date po ay May 1 pero pwede po natin itong i-adjust sa May 16 dahil ito naman po ay bilang preparasyon sa darating na pasukan sa Hunyo.
Under the expanded number coding scheme, 4 car plate number endings would be prohibited on the road from 5 in the afternoon until 7 in the evening. This scheme will cover private vehicles while motorcycles, bus, taxis, TNVS, and jeepneys will be exempted. According to MMDA Chairperson Romando Artes, the proposal could reduce traffic by 40% if implemented during rush hours.
From moderate to heavy, ine-expect po natin yung mga pangunahing lansangan natin will be light to moderate lamang at magpapabilis po ng daloy ng traffic.
Meanwhile, MMDA is also suggesting to adjust the office hours of government employees in Metro Manila. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., the MMDA chairman is suggesting to change it to 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
At least 21 people had died in landslides and flash floods caused by Tropical Depression Agaton in the Visayas, according to the Police Regional Office 8. Leah Ilagan reports.
The search and rescue operations of the police in Eastern Visayas for the victims of Typhoon Agaton in Samar and Leyte continue. Police Regional Office 8 Deputy Director for Operations, Police Colonel Salvador Alakyang in the Police at Your Service Program Reloaded says they have 652 personnel who continue to help residents affected by the typhoon. Pro 8 also have over 1,500 standby personnel who can still be deployed if needed. Colonel Alakyang said 1,634 families or 6,207 individuals affected by the typhoon are now in evacuation centers. 21 people were reported killed in Eastern Visayas, 18 were wounded and 6 were missing.
Patuloy po nating pinapayuhan ang ating mga kababayan at apektado ng bagyo na patuloy silang mag-monitor ng panahon, maghandang mag-evacuate habang maaga pa at panatilihing ligtas ang kanilang sarili at pamilya sa pamamagitan ng pagsunod sa mga anunsyo ng ating mga otoridad.
550 vehicles and 1,393 passengers are still stranded. 341 places still have no electricity and 36 have no communication signals. while 150 areas are still flooded. There are also 24 roads that are impassable.
Sa ngayon, ang ating kapulisan kasama ang DPWH, ang AFP, AFP at mga local government units ay walang tigil sa pagsasagawa ng road clearing sa mga kalsadang may mga nakaharang na puno at may mga landslide.
The police appeals to residents to cooperate with the authorities during disasters for the immediate evacuation. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, almost 10,000 individuals were stranded in various ports in the country due to tropical depression Agaton. Janice Inhente has the story.
Despite the improving weather condition in parts of Bicol region and northeastern Mindanao, many individuals are still stranded in various seaports in the country due to tropical depression Agaton, according to Philippine Coast Guard or PCG spokesperson Commodore Armando Balilo. They are still waiting for the go signal from their commanders to allow sea vehicles to sail.
Hinihintay na lang natin yung ating mga station commander sa kanilang desisyon. Kung kalmado na po ang karagatan ay anytime ay pwede na pong payagan yung mga barko.
According to the Maritime Advisory of the PCG, as of 12 in the afternoon today, almost 10,000 passengers, drivers and cargo helpers were not allowed to travel in 41 ports from Bicol region, eastern, central, western Visayas, and in northeastern Mindanao. Also stranded in ports are 2,800 rolling cargos, 42 ships, and motor bangkas.
Meron pa rin tayong mga stranded passengers. Around may 7,000 po ito, pero ina-expect natin na anumang oras ngayon ay makapagpapalayag na tayo ng mga barko, lalong-lalo na po dito sa Bicol. Sapagkat gumagana po ang panahon.
Some passengers are also stranded in Manila North Harbor Port following the travel suspension in areas affected by Tropical Depression Agaton.
Nung Lunes po, dito po kami natulog kagabi. Wala akong biyahe tapos in-adjust na lang po namin yung ticket namin sa 18 po.
Meanwhile, the PCG ensured that their entire force is focused on guarding the security at ports. The PCG also appealed to the public, especially for those who have a travel schedule, to first monitor the situation in the place that they want to go and their schedule if the situation is still not good to avoid inconvenience. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange Management assures they long prepared for the long holiday rush. JP Nunez reports why.
Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange anticipated that there might be a huge increase in the number of passengers during the long weekend. This is after 2 years of implemented travel restrictions due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which was eased recently. The PITX management is expecting more than 100,000 passengers might flock in terminal starting tomorrow when workers take their last day from their jobs. They assure the commuters that the terminal will not lack tickets during holiday rush as they have long prepared for this season.
Yes, very much capable naman tayo. Matagal naman kasi natin ito napaghandaan na. We have foreseen that this Holy Week period will be a good time for people to go to the provinces. If you would remember, it has been 2 years since the last time people were able to enjoy the Holy Week, no?
The PITX will cater those passengers who will stay overnight to wait for their trips. Meanwhile, some parents let their children board public buses amid the lingering threat of COVID-19. Parents believe that it is much safer to travel now since their children are immunized against the deadly virus.
Yes po, meron po sana nung December po. Kaya lang syempre pandemic. Tsaka bawal pa. Nabawasan yung takot ko dahil vaccinated na po. Kung ano na po ako, kumbaga kampante na po ako eh. Kasi lahat naman po sila vaccinated naman po sila.
Hindi naman gaano po natatakot kasi lalo na po fully vaccinated na din po kami. Tapos iwas-iwas na lang po sa madaming tao.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Health, or DOH, reports a rise in dengue cases in some provinces across 4 different regions. Isko Miguel reports why.
An uptick in dengue cases was seen in Zamboanga Peninsula, Cagayan Valley, Western Visayas, and Davao region. However, the health department said the reported in cases in 2022 are still significantly lower than the dengue cases recorded last year. But among the 4 regions, the city government of Zamboanga recently declared a dengue outbreak.
So aside from Zamboanga o Region 9, meron din tayo nakikitang pagtaas ng mga kaso ng dengue sa Region 2, sa Region 6, at saka sa Region 11. Pero dun sa Zamboanga City, dun natin nakita na lumagpas sa epidemic threshold yung kanilang numero ng mga kaso. That's why the local government has declared that outbreak.
The DOH also clarified that only some provinces in 4 regions were affected by the rise in dengue cases.
Marami po dun sa mga nagkasakit ng dengue would be less than 18 years old. Among these 3 regions, meron ho silang mga dengue warning signs. Ang mga namamatay naman dito sa dengue, hindi naman po lahat ng areas. Meron lang ho tayong na-monitor na ang pinakamataas, pinakamadami, reported were from Zamboanga City, Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu Province, and Iloilo Province.
The health department is closely coordinating with the local government on the management of dengue cases in some provinces. The DOH called on the public to eradicate mosquito breeding places. Meanwhile, aside from COVID-19 and dengue, the DOH is also monitoring evacuation centers to prevent any emergence of other infectious diseases. Safety officers have been deployed to remind evacuees to adhere to safety and health protocols against infectious and respiratory diseases.
During these times, mataas po ang risk for diarrhea, mataas po ang risk para po sa ibang respiratory infections. So para po sa diarrhea, we have provided wash logistics sa ating mga local governments, and especially we have enacted setting up yung mga washing stations, maintaining hygienic environment doon po sa ating evacuation center so that we can prevent or avoid additional infectious diseases in the area. Second would be the respiratory infection. So kapag ganyan, double po o triple ang purpose ng ating mga mask at yung mga physical distancing na ginagawa natin, because it also prevents us or protects us from the other respiratory infection.
The public is also advised to be extra cautious when wading in floodwater because of leptospirosis. The DOH warns against self-medication when experiencing symptoms. Instead, seek medical experts' advice and get treated. Isko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Supreme Court released the results of the 2020-2021 bar examination earlier today, announcing 8,241 bar takers passed the exam. This is equivalent to a 72% passing rate. Eileen Cerudo will give us the details live. Good evening, Eileen.
Good evening, Elsie. From 11,402 applicants for the 2020-2021 bar examinations last February, 8,241 of them will officially become lawyers. The Supreme Court said this is equivalent to a 72.28% passing rate. According to the Supreme Court Associate Justice Marvick Leonen, who also serves as the bar chairperson, the examination faced numerous challenges due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
What I can say is every single person of the 8,241 deserve to pass this exam.
The 2020-2021 bar examination is the first digitalized and localized examination conducted in the country. With the COVID-19 pandemic, Associate Justice Leonen said they had to implement a restructuring of the examination to fit with the pandemic situation faced by the country. Examination days were shortened to 2 days instead of 4, and the results were released within 2 months instead of 5. Added to that is the new grading system. The Supreme Court official added they want to remove the competition in the exams, therefore, they have not announced the top 10 bar passers. Instead, they announced rankings for law schools to determine their capabilities to hone future lawyers.
The top 10 is artificial because 90.0133% is not different from 90.0134%. Ganun kalapit yung grades. And to make a hierarchy, mahirap because you are endowing or entitling number 3 as being better than number 4. What counts is really the performance of law schools kasi yun yung in-evaluate natin. Can they really make bar passers, more particularly exemplary passers, etc. That's why I listed the law schools.
The Ateneo de Manila University and University of the Philippines both excel in the number of bar passers as well as the number of passers who scored higher than 85%. In terms of the top schools with high passing rate, Ateneo de Manila University is on top of the ranking with 99.64% passing rate, followed by UP with 98.84%. San Beda University is top 3 with 98.10%. University of San Carlos recorded a passing rate of 98% flat, while University of Santo Tomas has a 93.05% passing rate. Leading the schools with the most number of exemplary and excellent passers is UP. The oath-taking for new lawyers will be on May 2, which will be held in the Mall of Asia Arena. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court also chose Associate Justice Alfredo Benjamin Caguiwa as the next chairman.
We've announced it already that we're going to continue with the digitalized. That's also regionalized, although not the same number of regions. Right now, it's baka 15 testing centers lang kami all over the Philippines.
The schedule for the 2022 bar examination is yet to be decided, but Associate Justice Caguiwa says they are eyeing the month of November to conduct the exam. And that's the latest. Back to you, Elsie.
Perudo for that live report.
Bar exam passers prove that self-determination is enough to reach their goals to become a lawyer despite mounting hindrances. Dante Amento tells us why.
Tears of joy overflow as the result of the 2020-2021 bar exams was released today by the Supreme Court after 2 months. Parents, friends, and even law professors patiently waited outside the SC to show support to the bar examinees. Irene Joy Mendoza Urip from the Centro Escolar University in Makati is among the over 8,000 successful bar examinations. She failed to pass the exams in 2018 due to a serious disease. Irene Joy is also a COVID-19 survivor.
Para po sa nanay ko na nasa heaven, sa totoo lang po, 5 times po ako lumaban sa cancer para dito. And this is my second take. Hindi ko po nakaya ng first take dahil may sakit po ako. Lahat po ng glory para kay Lord.
Merelo Ermitaño wants to personally see her son's name on the lead wall installed outside the Supreme Court.
Hindi ako nakatulog kagabi. Yung anak ko tulog na tulog ako, yung hindi natutulog.
And when she knew that her son made it,
yan yung matagal na pangarap ng anak ko. Nakapasa siya sa PMA pero bumagsak siya dahil sa mata niya. Dahil sa mata niya na... PMA? Oo, PMA year dapat. Kasi yung color blindness, hindi siya nakapasa dahil doon. Tapos nga, nag-blow siya.
Patricia Ann Felipe and Cristina Marie Barao from the pamantasan ng lungsod ng Maynila or PLM admitted they experienced anxieties not just from the bar exams but also the fear to fail the COVID-19 test as one of the requirements to take the exams.
Sobrang worth it po yung hirap kasi yung anxiety bukod kasi dun sa pag-take mo ng bar, kakabahan ka pa kung papasa ka sa antigen test. Kaya congratulate ko rin yung mga hindi nakapag-take dahil bumagsak sila sa antigen test kasi hindi naman yun within their control.
Meanwhile, Jocelyn Coronado proves that self-determination is a big asset to success. She failed the bar exams twice, but she stresses,
"Huwag po tayong mag-give up sa ating pangarap. I graduated way back 2012. I took it 2012 and 2013. Flunkers for 2 times, but I never give up."
Daria De Leon, on the other hand, believes that her granddaughter's key to success is prayer.
Manalangin tayo lagi sa Diyos. Habang nag-aaral siya na mabuti bago siya mag-pray lang tayo na mag-pray kasi pag hindi natin sinamahan ng pananalangin sa Panginoon Diyos, hindi siya makakapasa.
The 2020-2021 bar examinations were the first digitalized exams conducted by the High Court and during the pandemic. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, or NICA, is conducting an investigation on a list of more than 20 smugglers, including their alleged cuddlers in the government. Nel Mariupol has this story.
National Intelligence Coordinating Agency Director Edsel Batalha confirmed that they have been validating a list of more than 20 persons allegedly involved in the large-scale smuggling of agricultural products, including their protectors in the government.
As to the list of players, smugglers that are allegedly enjoying protection from the DA and BOC officials, we do have a list. According to our list, po, Your Honor, the list of smugglers are around more or less 20 po. And then the remainder, several po dun sa mga protectors po. Mga ilan po? I think mga 5 po, ganun po.
Included in the list are 4 alleged high-profile smugglers that Senate President Vicente Soto III received from a whistleblower.
A certain Manuel Tan, who operates in Subic, Cagayan de Oro, and Batangas. And then a certain Andrew Chang, operating in Subic, MICP, POM, and Batangas also. Luz Cruz, tagged as the Onion Queen. June Diamante, agri-fishery products, playing in CDO.
Batalha stressed that these are all raw information and for validation. SP Soto called on the NICA to fast-track its validation. Benguet Legislative Caretaker and ACT-CIS Party List Representative Eric Yap, who has been accused of involvement in smuggling, asked to be invited to the hearing and clear his name. He requested Agot Balanoy, Public Relations Officer of the La Trinidad Group, to clarify allegations against him.
Ang tinutukoy ba ni Mrs. Balanoy ay ako po ba? Si Congressman Yap po ba? Kasi yun po yung kinakalat nilang salita sa Benguet, and sa akin po, pwede natin sabihin dito kasi bakit po tayo matatakot?
Meanwhile, lawmakers hit the absence of Agriculture Secretary William Dar, who has only been sending a representative since the first hearing.
Kailan siya available? Kami na lang pupunta kayo sa bahay niya, doon kami mag-hearing.
Nel Mariupol, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The largest network of supporters of Mayor Isko Moreno vows loyalty to the presidential candidate. This despite survey results showing a far lead by other candidates. Asher Cadapan Jr. details why.
Some political officers and members of Ikaw Muna or I Am Pilipinas have withdrawn their support for the presidential candidacy of Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso. Tim Orbos, overall coordinator of NICA under the coalition led by I Am Media, says they seek to unify other candidates against Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. He and other organization leaders shifted their alliance to support Vice President Leni Robredo, who is on the second lead in some poll surveys.
She is now in the best position to win this for us. Hindi na lang po ito laban ng pink, laban po ito ng lahat ng kulay dito sa laban po ng kampanyang ito. Pero alam po natin na kailangan niya lahat ng tulong, regardless of our politics and color. Otherwise, the past that we have seen na sinasabi ko po kanina, na naranasan po namin, batang 80s po kami, ay babalik.
But IM Media Secretary General Philip Piscio clarifies that those who switch their support are just few, while majority of their political leaders are continuously supporting Dumagoso's presidential bid.
Laban to di ba? And if we surrender, then, and just believe in surveys, forget it. Let's not have an election. Let's just look at the surveys and that's it, di ba? Pero dito, we believe and we will fight all the way to the end.
IM Pilipinas, however, appeals to Orbos not to use their logo as it suggests ideas that the whole group withdrawn their support to the Manila City Mayor. Dumagoso, on the other hand, says the supporters group did not talk to him about their plans, but he respects the decision of Tim Orbos as well as of other supporters from Cebu, Zamboanga, and Nueva Ecija.
Itong mga taon to wala sa akin nung araw. Kaya wala rin, kung sila'y mawala ngayon, walang bago sa buhay ko. But then again, any help will do.
Today, the camp of Mayor Isko, Moreno, and Doc Willie Ong conducted their political campaign activities in Laguna. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
With less than a month away from the May 9 elections, presidential candidate and Vice President Leni Robredo believes there should be an investigation on the alleged pre-shaded ballots in overseas voting. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Presidential candidate and Vice President Leni Robredo is calling on investigating bodies to look into the incident of alleged pre-shaded ballots in overseas voting. Robredo says this is to ensure the integrity of the elections.
Kailangang imbestigahin ito kasi baka hindi lang ito mangyari sa isang lugar. Sana isolated incident siya pero kailangan magbantay tayo. Cause for concern siya, lalo na kasi bago pa nag-start yung absentee voting para sa mga OFWs. Marami na yung nag-warn sa atin na yung pre-shaded ballots meron talagang balak gawin.
Should the Senate investigate the matter, the independent candidate believes Senator Amy Marcos, who chairs the Senate Committee on Electoral Reforms, should step down due to conflict of interest. Marcos is the sister of presidential candidate and Robredo's closest rival, Bongbong Marcos. The senator has yet to comment on Robredo's remark, but in a statement, she says she will request a full report from the Commission on Elections and determine whether there is a need for the committee to call for a hearing. Earlier today, the Robredo ticket attended a rally in San Fernando City in La Union, a known bailiwick of Marcos. As Robredo recalled her loss in the province 6 years ago, her supporters vowed that this time they will deliver winning votes for the vice president.
Hindi ako naniniwala personally sa Solid North kasi isa akong taga-Norte at hindi ako sumusuporta sa taga-isang Norte din.
Walang Solid North kasi as you can see sa crowd kanina, daming tao and yun lang yung proof na awanti Solid North.
In the 2016 vice presidential race, Robredo lost to Marcos in the province by over 318,000 votes. The Leni Kiko team also attended a rally in Veracatanduanes later in the afternoon. The Robredo ticket will be touring the province of Masbate tomorrow. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Ukraine desperately fights for the last time as it braces for the nation's key port city fall against Russia. Paul Gatchalian will tell us why live. Yes, Paul, good evening. Go ahead.
William, Ukrainian armed forces called today their last battle against Russia after its capital city Mariupol gets completely surrounded and overpowered by the Russian forces. The armed forces added that it is death for some and captivity for the rest of the nation. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky continues to plead for military assistance from its allies, making it clear that their resources are simply not enough to defend the city against the invasion.
Продуманою тактикою. Але якщо говорити про необхідну зброю, ми все ще залежимо від постачання від наших партнерів. На жаль, ми не отримуємо стільки, скільки необхідно, щоб швидше закінчити цю війну, щоб повністю знищити ворога на нашій землі.
Zelensky also pleaded to South Korea's National Assembly, where he told lawmakers that Mariupol and its citizens were completely destroyed and burned to ashes, with tens of thousands of lives lost in the battle. The invasion has now stretched 7 weeks, yet Russia is still believed to be pushing for even larger operations towards the Donbas region where activity is detected. Defense Ministry spokesperson Muduzianik on Monday stated that their preparation is almost over. French investigators have since arrived in Ukraine to investigate suspected war crimes and perpetrators, including the Russian president himself and 500 other suspects. William?
Yes, Paul, are there any other insights with the invasion, particularly in the city of Mariupol?
Well, William, this war is now dragging to its 7th week, and it was reported that the Russian troops are advancing on the Azov steel factory, which is considered the final stronghold of Ukrainian nationalists. Back to you, William.
Yes, thank you, Paul Gatchalian, reporting live.
The National Police, in coordination with wildlife authorities from the United States, have achieved the most important operation to safeguard protected species in Colombia. According to General George Luis Vargas, the head of the National Police in Bogota, Colombia, the Colombia's National Police rescued over 1,000 ocelots, snakes, birds, and other animals valued at more than $1 million on the black market. The nationwide operation, supported by the United States Fish and Wildlife Service and local environmental authorities, led to 21 arrests, the police said in a statement. Colombia is one of the world's most biodiverse countries, and police have rescued almost 6,000 animals from potential trafficking so far this year. The rescued animals are now in the care of environmental authorities.
The U.S. state of New York has now adopted the full practice authority legislation for its nurse practitioners. Charis Longboen will give us the details live. Yes, Charis, go ahead.
Good evening, William. Having granted the full practice authority, nurse practitioners or NPs in New York can now independently provide medical services they were trained to perform to its patients, especially in this time of pandemic. New York is the 25th state to adopt this legislation, together with District of Columbia and two U.S. territories. Along with this is a budget allocation for healthcare workers, which is included on key priorities in the fiscal year 2023 New York state budget.
To stop the hemorrhaging of healthcare workers, let's start by talking about we owe them a debt of gratitude and pay them some of that debt. That means dedicating in this budget $1.2 billion for frontline healthcare worker bonuses. And also, we've heard a lot about our home healthcare aides and workers. They've been through a lot as well. My own father is being taken care of a number of people around the clock, and we know how critically important they are to families and their sense of security. So we'll provide nearly $7.4 billion to support a wage increase, a $3 wage increase for home health care aides, and that's just the beginning.
The nurse practitioner role ranked first on U.S. News and World Report's 2022 Best Healthcare Jobs and second on 2022 100 Best Jobs list. Back to you, William.
Yes, thank you, Charis Longboen, reporting live.
Pharmaceutical giant Pfizer offered a $100 million bid for a Brisbane startup company in Australia, developing a revolutionary way to detect COVID. Marvi Delphine details why live. Yes, Marvi?
Pharmaceutical and biotech corporation Pfizer struck a $100 million deal with ResApp, a Brisbane company. This is to acquire the local business along with its smartphone application that claims to diagnose COVID-19 by listening to the sound of a cough. This startup business started as a project at the University of Queensland. Its main product is a smartphone diagnostic program that uses machine learning to measure the severity of respiratory conditions. ResApp currently entered into a scheme of arrangement with Pfizer for 11.5 cents a share. According to Tony Keating, the chief executive of ResApp, the company is excited with the proposal as it recognizes the dedication the ResApp team put into building the app with capabilities in digital health. Meanwhile, the smartphone app is currently on trial to diagnose COVID through coughing into the phone's microphone. Testing shows shows that the new technology is more effective than the rapid antigen tests. Elsie?
Thank you, Marvi Delphine, reporting live from Australia.
The icy giant planet Neptune that's currently experiencing summer season is showing a surprising change in its global temperature. Ryuji Sasaki reports why live. Yes, Ryuji, good evening, go ahead.
Good evening, William. Summertime in Neptune started in 2005 and it can last until 2045, which means that by now temperature should be slowly growing warmer. However, experts found a surprising drop of 14 degrees Fahrenheit that started even before the southern summer solstice in 2005 occurred. Lead study author Michael Roman at the University of Leicester said they were expecting the temperature to be warmer, not colder. But he went on to explaining that temperature variations may be related to seasonal changes in Neptune's atmospheric chemistry. He also said that random variability in weather patterns or a response to solar activity cycle might also have an effect to Neptune's surprising temperature drop. This discovery was then followed by a warm polar vortex or a dramatic warming event at the planet's south pole that has never been seen on Neptune. Meanwhile, the James Webb Space Telescope is scheduled to observe Neptune later this year to map the chemistry and temperature of the planet. More observations are needed to confirm what caused the large and rapid changes in Neptune's atmospheric condition. William?
Yes, thank you very much, Ryuji Sasaki, reporting live. And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 35. It says, "Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away."
And those are the reasons behind the news, April 12, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Elsie Marcos, reporting live from Auckland, New Zealand.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.